Well, good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. We've kind of got a drip-droppy rainy day here this morning. Today is January 15th, so today is my dad's birthday. I have already mailed him a card and sent him a happy birthday text, but I need to get out of here soon. It is 7:22, and I'm taking the dogs to PetSmart. I've been wanting to bathe them all week, but it's been too cold and today it's raining. So since I do not blow dry them, I just wash them and kind of let them air dry. I don't like to do it when it's too cold outside. So I'm gonna take them to PetSmart for a quick wash, which I've actually never done, but they are old, stinky ladies, so they need baths. Their appointment is at 8. I feel like traffic could be heavy this morning, so I'd like to get out of here. And then while they are getting their 45-minute bath, wash, and blow dry, I'm gonna go to the grocery store. So I've got a grocery list. Actually need to take a picture of the grocery list, and then we can get out of here. But that's the plan for this morning. I've got some other things I'd like to do later today, but first things first, we've got to get to PetSmart before their appointment, before it's too late. Well, I've just dropped the dogs off at PetSmart. I'm gonna head across the way over to Sam's Club, and then if they're not done with the girls yet, I will head over to Aldi, which is a little further away, but it's not too bad. I'm hopeful I can get both stores before they're done, so. Clock starts now. If only Sam's Club shopping carts had cup holders, I'd take my coffee with me, but they don't. But I don't think I've ever been here when this parking lot has been this empty. So it's a Thursday morning. Usually I park like a few rows over that way. There's a few cars over this way, but I don't think I've ever seen it like this. And I've certainly never seen that many carts up front before. Do you call them carts or do you call them buggies? I've never once in my life called them a buggy, other than, you know, to compare the term. Just for a time check, it's 8:15, and I'm about halfway through my list here at Sam's Club. All right, 8:22, and I've got everything. And a little bit more because I didn't have the cauliflower on the list, but I've decided I'm doing butter chicken this week. And we're gonna do cauliflower rice, and we're gonna need that. This will be vegetable for the salad. We've got carrots and sweet potatoes for dog food, chicken for dog food, chicken breasts down here for us to pound flat to roast because we are completely out, and then also to dice up for the butter chicken. Rice for dog food, rice for Emma for butter chicken, hard-boiled eggs. We've got taco seasoning and more taco seasoning because we're completely out of the house. And I want to compare the Old El Paso to the Members Mark, and ranch dressing. I think I've done pretty well. Oh, and romaine for the salads. All right, 8:30, all loaded up in the car. All the groceries are back there and you cannot see them, but the cooler is completely full. So time to head to Aldi. Let's go. Also clocking it for future reference, 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning is apparently the time to go to Sam's Club because there is no one here. It's deserted. Very pleasant experience. I've made it to Aldi, and I'm gonna do a little cleanup in the parking lot because they don't open till 9. So I have like more than 20 minutes to kill. So let's come out here and grab this grocery cart and put it back, because that's the whole point of the quarter at Aldi, is to make people put their stuff back, but they don't. It's not like I've got anything better to do. Oh, hey, look, there's another one. It is somewhat comforting knowing that I'm not the only person who made this mistake. There was a guy who got out of his car. He raced into the parking lot, flew into a parking space, got out of his car and ran up to the door with his grocery bags. And I'm just like noticing the parking lot is empty. So they've got to not be open. I checked the hours before I got out of the car. They don't open till 9. But I got the grocery carts put away. And I don't even want the quarters. Just like put your cart away. Even not at Aldi, put the cart away. Is it that hard? I'm gonna drink my coffee. All right, it's a little after 9 because they let a whole lot of people in. They were all queued up at the door, and I don't want to fight amongst them. I have a really small list here, but I'm gonna get a cart anyway. Oh, and look, it's one of the ones that I put away with the quarter still in it, so I don't even have to rent it today. Well, while I was in there, I got some things that I needed and some things that I don't. Mom wanted me to get one of these because the one we have the deep freezers plugged into is old. And apparently surge protectors like go bad. And the nightlight part is important because we can just kind of turn the lights off in the garage and peek out and see if they're still on. And having the plug blown last week, or I guess the week before when the refrigerator went out, it was really necessary. So we were going to replace that one. Mom asked for a balance board, and this one was like $10, or maybe it was like $7, but if she decides she doesn't want it, I can bring it back. But I figure for $7 it's worth a try. I figure it's kind of the same thing with this one. We don't need a new one, but the one we've got is old and kind of dirty, and it doesn't hold everything. If I get this home and it doesn't fit in the drawer, or we decide we don't like it, it's coming right back. And then I got a scale. The one that I've been using, not ideal because it came from Omada Health, and it's like supposed to be linked to the app, and it only works with the app. And the problem with that is, well, I mean, it still gives you a weight, but it takes like 10 minutes in between weighs because it's trying to ping the app to send the weight to the app. And I lost access to that app when I lost my insurance, when I lost my job, so it's kind of bricked right now. Also, max capacity on this, 396 pounds for $9. If we get it home, we don't like it, it can come back. And then, of course, the necessary things: spring mix, peeled garlic, and radishes. Now back to it with the girls. Did I already say they called me while I was in there and they're nearly ready? Perfect timing. I got them. And they smell so much better. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a much more pleasant ride home now that you guys don't stink quite as bad. Actually, they smell really nice. And apparently I had like $40 in PetSmart rewards, so I only had to pay like $20 for their baths this morning. That's a win for sure. Very, very happy with that. Now we go home, unload the groceries, and start the dog food, because not only were they stinky, but I need to make dog food. And I'd rather do it in the week and save the weekend, especially since I don't have anything else to do other than, you know, like homework stuff, but I can make dog food. So at least I can get it started. It is later. I've had breakfast. I've got dog food started. Let's see, we've got rice in here that I'm not cooking yet. I will cook that later. We've got chicken breasts. We've got drumsticks and drumsticks. These are what I bought today, and then this was in the freezer. We have had it for a long time. It's freezer burnt. I'm going to cook it for the dogs. Potatoes and carrots we'll cook probably tonight. I don't want to cook it yet because I don't need to. I'm gonna try this. I don't even know if I'm gonna keep it. It might just go right back. I have the receipt right here. And then my friend Sarah texted me and she said, check your front door, and there's a box and it's from her. So now I have to open it and see what it is because I'm desperately curious. Well, she sent me a really sweet note and like a Christmas martini sweatshirt. Oh my gosh. And it's like so soft. And on the inside is the beer token from our cruise that she forgot to give back to me. So thank you, Sarah. I love it. And even though it's not Christmas anymore, I will be wearing this. Oh, it's cute. And somehow it smells really good too. Thanks, Sarah. I know you're watching. So thank you. Two things. So I have a meeting for school that I have to attend. They're hosting it today. They've got another one on Sunday. I'd rather go today and get it over with. It's an hour, or it's supposed to be an hour, starting at 1:30. That is in 29 minutes. So I'm going to try to do that. But before I go downstairs, because I've got some time, I'm going to put the very last of Christmas away. I was going to go through these bins with Mom. Mom came home last night and did not feel good, so I just packed it all up this morning. I'm going to put it away right now. we'll go through it some other time. Now's not a good time. So with that, Christmas is put away, which is ideal. And then I can vacuum up here because it needs to be done like somewhat desperately, but I can do that tonight. So I'm kind of excited to put Christmas away. I love having Christmas out. I really do. But the house always feels so much cleaner and bigger when we put it all away. So I love that too. So I'm getting ready to walk in my Walmart shoes. I have no idea where that orange stain came from. I really don't. But I put my watch on my shoe when I'm walking on my walking pad because it doesn't count my steps when it's on my wrist, and my wrist is on my desk. And I've got my little ankle weights on. And here's my shiny fiance. Hi.
Hi.
You're so cute.
No, you.
Do you want to tell the people the exciting news? What happened last night?
That I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
And now?
And I'm monetized.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
That's right. Now I get some of the money of the ads I already show you anyways.
So for the longest time, I kind of felt weird about having my YouTube channel like monetized, and I kind of felt a little guilty about it in a way.
Yeah, and then you realize they're monetizing it anyways.
You made me realize it because Anthony told me YouTube runs ads on your videos anyway. You might as well get a cut of the ad revenue that they're making. So he's right. I should. That's fair. So anyway, I just think he's cute. He's working.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. All right, I'm gonna walk, and I've got my school meeting in 10 minutes. So
You're so cute.
I'm in the library. I just finished a shower. I've got like a hair leave-in treatment in, and I came in here because Chunky's on the bed. Since we've got the ceiling fan in here now, which is there, it's really nice. We've been leaving the door in here open, and Chunky loves to hang out in here. He's such a sweet kitty. He's also obsessed with Maleficent, so he's gonna go see if he can find her because I've let the girls out of my room now, the female cats, and he's obsessed with Maleficent. Oh, and Aurora's coming. These two do not get along. Next on the agenda is meal prepping. So this looks weird, but this is yogurt and lemon juice because I'm going to be working up one of the chicken breasts that I got at Sam's Club today, and I'm going to be making butter chicken. So this is my butter chicken spice, and here I have 1.5 cups of like full fat plain Greek yogurt. We're going to do all of this chicken. It's 8.34 pounds. And then I think I'm going to do, I'm not going to measure with this. I'm going to do, this is clean. And we'll do 1/4 cup of butter chicken spice to start with. I want to stir that in and see how it looks. I think I might need more. We'll see. Because it's a lot of chicken. Yeah, I'm gonna do probably another 1/4 cup of the butter chicken spice. Okay, we're thoroughly mixed now. I ended up doing 3/4 of a cup of the mix. And if you're worried that I'm gonna run out, don't be, because this is the surplus. I bought it in an obscene amount from a website. That is also butter chicken spice back there, so I am at no risk of running out anytime soon. I'm actually going to pull about half of this out and put it on top, or put it in a different bowl, and then when I put the chicken in, I'll put the other half on top of the chicken, and then I think it'll mix in a little bit easier. But the way I make my butter chicken is I start with the yogurt, lemon juice, and spice mix, and I marinate the chicken overnight. It's not necessary, I've done it without it, but I do think it helps. And then tomorrow I will cook it. You know, I think it's been a while since I've actually shown you how I make my butter chicken. I know I'm making an enormous amount of butter chicken, but you can scale it down for yourselves. But I did kind of write out, not the recipe, but like the ingredient list, and I did the macro calculation for it today because I'm trying to figure out what's on our diet and what's not. And it actually turns out that, you know, if we were to make this amount of butter chicken with this amount of yogurt, There's no calories in the spices, but this amount of yogurt and lemon juice, and then like what I'll put in it tomorrow, it will turn out to be less than 500 calories per serving with cauliflower rice. So I don't think that's too bad, actually. And if we make more than 12 servings out of this, if it turns out to be 15 servings, it'll be even fewer calories per serving. So, is my shirt on backwards? No, it just feels like it. I think this is going to be somewhat diet friendly. Also, Emma's on a butter chicken kick. She was on a taco salad kick for a really long time, and that abruptly ended last week. And I made a huge batch of butter chicken last week, and it is now gone. This is really easy to make. If I can make all week's meals, like if I can make a whole week of meals by cooking one singular time, that would be awesome. Even if it's just like 4 days to feed 4 of us, it's a lot less time making dinner every night, and Anthony loves it, I love it, Mom likes it, Emma seems to like it too. So I will dice up the chicken. I'll show you that when it's over, but dicing chicken kind of squeaks me out, so I don't like working with raw chicken. It's disgusting. But I will show you when it's over and I've washed my hands and everything. And then tomorrow we'll pick up like the butter chicken recipe, and then we might flash back to today after the butter chicken recipe, just because I want it all to be together in the video. I think I can do that. We'll see. But for now, that's my plan. It is 4:09. I'd like to have this done before Mom gets home. I think I'll be cutting it close. We'll see. So it's 5:10. Mom is not home yet, and the chicken is diced, but it also would not all fit in one container, so I had to put some overflow in another one. I'm still gonna cook it as one batch. So from here, I'm going to flash forward to tomorrow when I'm gonna cook this. So I'll be with you in just a second for you, but it'll be about 20-ish hours for me because I'm going to cook it earlier in the day, around lunchtime tomorrow. At least that's the plan. So, hi, honey. Hi, Yogi Bear. So we'll flash forward to tomorrow for the cooking of the butter chicken, and then after that, you'll join me back here for the rest of today. Okay, it is now Friday afternoon, and I'm making the butter chicken. So on the stove, I have a great big pot because I'm making an enormous batch. I have diced some onions, and if you're curious how I cut my onions, let's pretend, because I used half of 2 different onions already, let's pretend this is an onion. So the root is down here, I cut through the top, and I make 2 hemispheres, right? Let's pretend that was a whole onion, and then I could just cut it. So then I'll slice the top off with the little frilly hairdo bits, and then I peel it, and then to dice the onion, I'll take the onion like this, and I'll cut little fans, right? So all the way across. All right, so now we've got all these little fans, and then I'm just gonna cut across those this way, and now we've got some diced onion. Now I know some people will like cut across this way. You don't have to do that because they're already, onions are in layers, just ask Shrek. But this is the fastest way I've found to dice an onion, and I learned this when I worked at Chipotle. So you know a corporation is gonna have you work as efficiently as possible. When I get to the end, I'll flip it down so that the root is up, and I'll just kind of slice around the root and get all that onion off of there. And you're probably thinking, wow, that's a lot of onion. Yeah, I'm making a lot of butter chicken. Obviously, you will not have to use this much onion if you're making butter chicken, if you're making a smaller batch. In fact, I would suggest you don't use this much onion if you're making a smaller batch, but I'm gonna do the other half of the onion real quick, and then we will get started with the recipe. Speaking of the recipe, here's the recipe card, because I'm sure somebody's gonna ask. I will put something on the screen so that you can see it, but this is my butter chicken recipe. If you like, pause the video, take a little screenshot. If I ever figure out how to upload PDFs for you guys, I will link a PDF in the description box to the recipe that you can print. But for now, just take a screenshot. I have told myself that if I make it to 5,000 subscribers, I will make a website for the channel for things like that, for recipes and stuff. So as of filming this, I'm somewhere in the 3,000s. So I need a couple more thousand subscribers to get there, which I'm not mad about because I think making a website sounds like a big job. But it's a one-day thing, a someday thing, not a today thing. I have my onion. Now while we're over here, I want to talk about the only other things that you might prep on the cutting board before we get started cooking. One of them is garlic, another is ginger, and another is chili. Let me grab those and I'll be right back. For ginger, I use this. You could use fresh ginger and grate it yourself. This for me is just so much easier. This is what I use. For garlic, now this is one of my new favorite hacks. Let me open this logo, because we're actually gonna need this. So you'll need minced garlic. Now what I did is I went to Sam's Club and I got the great big bag of like pre-peeled garlic. And there's no way I can use all of that. I love garlic, okay? But there's no way I can use all that before it goes bad. So what I did was I put it all in like a food processor or like a food chopper, and then I spread it out, because it was a great big bowl of it. I spread it out on a baking sheet on parchment paper, and once it was frozen, because I've spread it out flat, once it was frozen, I kind of cut it into cubes that are going to be pre-portioned. So these are frozen and they're ready to use. I'm gonna use both of these for the butter chicken today. And then the last thing that you would prepare before we start cooking is the chilies. Now I have this bag of chili arbol, and they're really, really hot. So what I like to do with them is I like to rehydrate them. I put them in a little bit of water and I microwave them for about 2 minutes. And then I will like take the ribs and seeds out and chop them up really, really small. I'm not showing you this because the last time I made butter chicken, like 2 weeks ago, I forgot when I was doing that, or when I decided I was gonna do this, that I am not gonna prepare that for you today. But the last time I did a lot of them. And then I froze it in little ice cubes. These are glued together or frozen together. But these are gonna thaw, and we're gonna use this as our chili paste. We've got our garlic. The onion is gonna go into the pot on the stove with about 2 tablespoons of a neutral oil. I'm gonna use grapeseed oil today because that's what I've got. And then we're gonna cook the onions down quite a bit. We're not trying to caramelize them, trying to fry them until they're a little bit golden and a lot less raw, sharp onion flavor. Onions first. And so I will meet you over at the stove while I put some of this stuff away. I've got the pot, it's hot already, and I'm not measuring the oil, I'm just gonna put some in. Actually, the bottle is empty, let's just kill it. There. Okay. I'm gonna turn the heat down and I'm gonna dump the onions in. I know it's hot, so these are gonna sizzle really, really loudly, so I will kind of mute that for you guys until it's not quite so noisy. Also, I'm in a kitchen with other people and other cats, so if you hear other noises or see other people moving around, that's just my family. Let me stir, stir, stir to coat the onions in that oil. I think I turned the heat down enough that they're not going to burn. So, while we're waiting for these to cook, I'm going to stir them periodically until they're done. But while we're waiting for these to cook, I'm going to prepare my chicken broth, because I need probably 4 cups of chicken broth. And I don't have like the liquid chicken broth, I have the chicken bouillon powder. So I'm gonna go ahead and make 4 cups of that. You don't have to get it hot. I'm gonna start with hot water because the chicken bouillon powder dissolves better in the hot water. If you're using the liquid chicken broth, that's totally fine. It does not have to be hot when you use it. I'm just gonna heat mine up because that's the way that that powder dissolves better. And so if you're starting from like cold or room temperature chicken broth, that's okay. It might take a little bit longer for this to come back up to temperature. It is not a big deal. I use the powder because it's easier for me to keep that in my pantry than a bunch of jugs of chicken broth. Since I'm making so much of this, and I use, you know, chicken broth for, you know, a few other things, I would be going through it all the time, but the chicken bouillon I can make whenever I'm ready to make it. And it, you know, keeps for a lot longer. It's a lot less heavy. Anyway, I'm gonna go do that. I'll be right back. Alright, next I'm going to add an entire little can. This is 6 ounces of tomato paste. And I like to add the tomato paste before I add any liquid because I think cooking that tomato paste, especially with something else like onion, and then we'll add the garlic and the chili here in a minute, cooks out a little bit of that canned flavor. And if it's starting to become really paste-like and you don't like that, you can always dilute it with a little bit of water. I think I'm going to add a little bit of water and then let that cook out. And now I can add the garlic and the chili. Alright, I added a little bit more water to the tomato paste with the onions and garlic and chili because we want this part to mix in with what we do next fairly easily. So I'm going to kind of spread that a little bit evenly on the bottom. It's not life or death situation, but next, we add our marinated chicken. I'm just going to dump it all in. And then I want to scrape the sides of the bowl to get all of that chicken and then the yogurt and spice mixture. And if you remember, I had 2 containers because it wouldn't fit in one, so we'll put the other container in 2. And now we stir, because we don't want that tomato paste on the bottom to burn, and it will if we leave it there, and we want it to thoroughly combine with our chicken. And now's a great time, once we've added the chicken, now's a great time to walk away for a few minutes. I'm going to just kind of leave this as it is. I'll put a lid on it. I've got it currently on medium heat. We're going to let this sit for 5 minutes, come back and stir it, let it sit another 5 minutes, come back and stir it. This is the stage where we're trying to cook the chicken. So it will take a while with all this chicken in it. If you're making a smaller batch, check more frequently, stir more frequently. But for this big batch, it was cold when it went in. It's going to take a while to come back up to temperature and start cooking. So I can, you know, freely walk away for about 5 minutes. I'll put a lid on it. Okay. So it's starting to bubble just a little bit. It's been about 5 minutes, so I'm going to give it a stir. I can tell it's getting hot again because it's steaming, but as I'm bringing the chicken from the bottom of the pot to the top, I can tell it's not cooked, not even like halfway. So we're going to stir it. We're going to leave the heat where it is because I don't want anything to burn on the bottom. It's just going to take however long it takes. Cover it again, and walk away again. Alright, it's that time. I'm going to stir it again. And this time I know we're getting somewhere because the texture of the chicken is changing. And that's a good thing because we want it to be cooked. But once again, it's not done. So we stirred it again, we'll let it cook again. This time I'm gonna crank the heat up just a little bit. I'm gonna bump the heat up to medium high. It's hard to regulate the temperature of a pot of food this big. with this much chicken in it. So we're gonna crank it up just a little bit. So what the lid is doing, what we're doing when we cover it, is we are letting it retain heat inside the pot. So it's cooking from the bottom because the heat's coming from the bottom. The pot itself is hot, so that heat is kind of coming from the sides, and then covering it, we're trapping that heat inside the pot, so it's also going to help penetrate the chicken that's on top. So we're not just cooking the chicken on the bottom, we're trying to cook all of the chicken at once. Now, it's chicken breast. You could do this with chicken thighs, like you could do dark meat chicken if you like. I think some people will do this with like chickpeas or tofu. Obviously those cook differently, but chicken is my favorite thing to do this with. I have like saved butter chicken sauce before and put it on fish. Tilapia is spectacular with the butter chicken sauce on it. I wouldn't cook it this way though. Maybe in another video, maybe later this year, maybe in like Lent, I'll show you how I make a butter chicken sauce with this butter chicken spice, because I have done it before. It's very, very good. But I'll show you how I do that tilapia with the butter chicken sauce, because it's delicious. But I would not recommend cooking fish this way, because it will just flake and you'll kind of destroy the fish. So anyway, right now we're cooking the chicken. So far so good. It is 4:20 in the afternoon. I'm a little behind where I would like to be schedule-wise. So if I feel like I'm rushing this, it's because I am, just a little bit, because I do have things I've got to do this evening. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna get this chicken wrapped up though. We're nearly done. So what we're gonna do is, when the chicken is done cooking, I'll give you a little preview. If you've read the recipe, you already know. But when the chicken is done cooking, we're gonna add the 4 cups of chicken broth and stir that in. And we'll, kind of let that come up to a simmer. Once the chicken is cooked, we're basically done. We're just gonna stir some things in. So we're gonna add the chicken broth and stir it in until it's like completely evenly distributed, because the sauce that's in there is the yogurt and the lemon juice from the marinade that we made. And then of course all the spices. We need to dilute those spices into the sauce, and this liquid that's in here has a much different texture than the chicken broth. So once the chicken broth is distributed, then we can add a cup of heavy cream, and then we'll stir that in. The very last thing there's 2 last things that go in. We'll take it off the heat after we add the heavy cream, just kind of stir that in. It should change color. It will look a lot lighter. And then we add a whole stick of butter, just 1 whole stick of butter, since I'm doing such a big batch. If I was doing a much smaller batch, just kind of scale the butter down. I will give you the recipe for like a much scaled down version of this. But as you scale it up, you don't have to scale the butter up evenly. I feel like 1 stick of butter and this is plenty. And then the last thing you'll add is salt, because this definitely needs salt. There's no salt in it. And then apparently pepper, black pepper, it contains a compound that will help you absorb the turmeric that's in the butter chicken spice. So you should be adding black pepper to this, but we like to add that at the table. So that's what we've got left. We're cooking the chicken, then we add the chicken broth, then we add the heavy cream, and then we add the butter and salt, and we're done. So we're close. All right, 5 more minutes have passed. Take the lid off. I'm gonna dump that water, that steam, back into it, and then we stir again. I'm gonna give it 3 more minutes covered. Okay. I think that's enough, because the chicken is for sure cooked enough for the next step. So I'm gonna stir that, because that liquid has kind of separated from the chicken, so we're going to try to stir that back in, and then we add the chicken broth. Now mine, since it's the powder, has kind of separated. I'll give it a little stir, and then it all goes in. And this is why it does help if it's hot, like if you're starting with hot chicken broth, because you're not taking the temperature of this down too much. However, it is not the end of the world if you're starting from cold, it will just take a little bit longer to get it back up to temperature. Now, if you're looking at yours and maybe you've got more chicken and you would like more sauce, add more water. You could add more chicken broth. I'm looking at this and I think I might even add another cup or 2 of water just because we really, really, really like the sauce in this house. I don't want to dilute the flavor of the sauce too much, but I think we can stretch it enough to give it another cup of water. So now that we've got like a more brothy base, you know, more of like a saucy butter chicken, I'm gonna crank the temperature up closer to high because we want this temperature to come back up. So now we're like high, medium, high heat. So not quite all the way too high, but on the high end of medium high. And it sounds like it's gonna start simmering again very, very soon. So let me get another, let's start with a cup and we'll see where that puts us. Because we are gonna add some cream. Yeah, that's about right. I just like to have, because when I dish it out, I like to have enough chicken, but also sauce, because I will do like a ladleful or a cupful of the chicken, and then a separate cupful of just the sauce. Because the sauce is where the flavor's at. The chicken is the protein, but the sauce is what makes this so exciting. Once we get this to like a rolling simmer, I'll give it another stir, and then we'll add the cream and take it off the heat. We've got bubbles. We're not at a rolling simmer yet. And I know we're working with chicken here. Chicken, you can't eat like undercooked, right? So raw or undercooked chicken is the no-go. If at any point you are concerned about your chicken not being cooked, simmer it in this for 5-10 minutes. You know, once you get the broth in there, you're a lot less likely to dry out your chicken. I think it's a lot easier to tell if the chicken is done when it's when it doesn't have the broth in it. But I could tell by the texture. I've made this so many times. I could tell by the texture of the chicken that it's done. But your chicken will continue to cook as long as your broth is hot enough. I think we're there. Now we add the cream. And I should probably fully disclose to you, we ran out of cream at the 3/4 cup mark, so I added half and half to make up the rest of the cup. So it's not quite as heavy as if we added the heavy cream. And you see how that just lightened it and made it a different color? It's also going to make it a different texture. So that cream, the fat in it, is going to help coat each little nugget of chicken in here, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that texture. Okay, so since I've got the camera set up, and I kind of don't hate how it is set up, I'm gonna just turn the heat off and leave it on the heat for this next step, and then we'll take it off. But the next step is what makes a butter chicken. It's the stick of butter. Now I've sliced the stick into little like pats of butter. I didn't count them. I don't know how many there are, but I try to make them about the size or smaller than a tablespoon of butter. I have found that it melts a lot better than just throwing the whole stick in. Yes, we're throwing in an entire stick of butter, or I am. You're probably not, because you're probably not making this huge batch of butter chicken at home. But we're not just throwing a solid stick of butter in, we're melting it in smaller pieces. So now we stir this in. Anthony is here supervising us now.
It smells delicious.
I think this is the reason he wants to marry me, is this butter chicken right here.
It's a real bonus.
So once this butter's melted, we're good to go. Oh wait, no we're not. We need salt. I keep forgetting about the salt. This is one of those things that like I always forget about. Now you can add the salt at the table, but if you're serving this for other people, you want it to taste its best right when you give it to them. So I will do, let's see, this was 8 pounds of chicken. We're gonna do about a teaspoon and a half of salt. I like to go light on it at first because you can always add more, you can't take it out. So if you know that your family likes food salty, but you don't, just add a little bit and then they can add more at the table. It's not gonna change it significantly. That smells so good. Okay. So that, boys and girls, is how I make my butter chicken. Yummy, yummy. It's done. Now, I'm not gonna portion this out right now because it's hot and I need to go change my clothes so I can leave the house because Anthony is waiting on me. So I'm gonna let this sit on the counter. I'm actually gonna take it like off the stove, and I'll move it over there to the granite countertop. Now, I will tell you this before I sign off and send you back to me from yesterday. The leftovers of this I think are better than fresh. Now, if you eat this like right now, obviously it's really hot. You could serve it over rice. I think jasmine rice is the best. I really like to chop up some cilantro and mix that into my rice or like top this with cilantro. Anthony hates cilantro, so you don't have to do that. I think it makes it better. If you like cilantro, I think you'll like that. Rice is not exactly on our diet right now, so we've been doing cauliflower rice. That's pretty good. I think it's better if you cook the cauliflower rice on the stovetop as opposed to microwaving it. But with this, it doesn't really matter because the cauliflower rice flavor does not add or detract from this. However, if you eat this now, it's good. If you eat it tomorrow, it's better. That's my opinion. I think Mom and Emma agree. I think Anthony agrees. So I'm really looking forward to the leftovers of this. But now, back to me from yesterday. So, goodbye. Welcome back to Thursday, the 15th of January. I think if you're joining me, you just came back from when I made butter chicken tomorrow. Make it make sense. Oh, hello. So I had help pounding the rest of the chicken. So if you remember when I went to the grocery store this morning, I bought 2 of the big flats of chicken breasts. One of them I turned into butter chicken, and that's what you just saw me make. And this is what we did. Anthony helped me. This is what we do with our chicken most of the time. We take a chicken breast and trim it up, and then I'll slice it in half, and then we pound it flat so that it bakes pretty evenly. And like 2 of these will feed 3 to 4 of us very, very comfortably. And so we've got 4 layers of chicken breasts. So that'll feed us dinner quite a few times. So that's kind of cool. And Mom just got home. Hi, Mom.
Hey!
Well, I did not vlog a whole lot tonight. Mom got home and we had dinner. And then we watched Kelly's Heroes and doom scrolled. And now it is nearly 10 o'clock. It's bedtime. But I'm here in the library to show you the tree. So this is our library at night, and we have a Christmas tree in here year round because we used to have 2 like spare bedrooms. So we had a library and we had a Christmas themed guest room, and we kind of merged them when Thomas moved in. And so we don't have a Christmas room anymore. We have a Christmas library, which is nice. And so we leave this tree out year round, which is nice because it's kind of, I won't call it delicate or fragile, but like it has pine cones on it, and these pine cones are not glued on very well. And so I feel like if I put it in a bag, these pine cones on this tree would fall off so fast. But I need to take the lights off this tree because you can see the tree looks like a candy cane, and it's not supposed to look like that. So I need to take these lights off and put other lights on, or just not do lights on it till next year. But it is so pretty. I don't know. I kind of want to sleep in here sometime just because I love this room, and something about this library lit up with a Christmas tree. It just looks so cozy. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll put, lights that work on the tree and, spend the night in here sometime just to kind of enjoy this room because I do come in here and hang out in here and read in here and look at my books in here, but I don't sleep in here. So I should do that. I really should. Anyway, the cat is impatiently waiting for me to take her to bed and feed her dinner. So let's go do that. All right, I think this is where I leave you. I've got mystery food. I think it's dog food on my shirt because I have like a Ziploc bag full of extra potatoes from the last time I made dog food. And it was defrosting outside, but it's supposed to freeze tonight, which is crazy because it's Florida, but it is January, so it's supposed to be like really, really cold tonight. So I brought it inside and I guess I got it all over my shirt. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me in this vlog for most of today and then like the part of tomorrow where I'm making butter chicken, but you've already seen that. But anyway, tomorrow is Friday and Anthony and I have plans to go to downtown St. Cloud tomorrow night, and we might have like a little date night downtown, and if we do, that will be the next vlog that you guys see. There are 3 different errands. Well, not really. 3 different places that I would like to go to tomorrow downtown St. Cloud. One of them is the jewelry store that made my engagement ring, and we're gonna have it appraised so that we can have it insured. I'm wearing it all the time and I really would like it to be insured. Another one is like a paint your own pottery place, and they're open until 8 p.m. tomorrow night. And then another one, the last place I would like to go to tomorrow night, because I think this sounds like a great date night. Go to the jewelry store and get an errand done. Go to the paint your own pottery place, because that sounds like fun. And then after that, there is supposed to be a bookstore that is also a speakeasy downtown. And I didn't know this existed until I found it on Instagram like a week ago. So now I'm thinking it could be it could be a really nice date night, and it could just be like after work. It could be nice. We will see. I don't know, but if that happens, and if we vlog it, that is what you guys will see next. But anyway, that's gonna be it from me for tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. You'll see me again really soon.